Hi. So we have this beautiful mother-daughter relationship on stage right now between Anacostia and Oliver. I think it's highly unrelated, highly underrated. You guys have mutual betrayal. You have you do some joint torture of Scylla. There's a lot of drama going on in that relationship. Did you take notes on how you wanted to shape that relationship? And specifically, Demetria, what do you think? How do you think Anacostia was raised by Oliver? What was that like?
Y'all are these fantastic questions. Let me go first? Yeah. Oh, for sure. Okay, the part one of it, right? The mother-daughter dynamic between Alder and Anacostia. I just said this in my group session. I have to start by giving credit to Brian Sedler, Elliot Lawrence, the writing team, because they honed in on each character so beautifully that it was easy to not only find the basis of who they were, but also find those things that made those connective tissues really work. Between Alder and Anacostia, in my mind, it was fostered a lot because me and Lynn get along the way that we do. The writing was wonderful, the storyline was fun. Well, as you mentioned, there was a lot of trauma bonding. But because we respect each other, because we're genuine friends, and because we have an algorithm that we specifically have, when it came down to what that looked like when the mother-daughter dynamic happened, it wasn't even a thought. It just naturally flowed. Now off camera, as I talk about our dynamic, Lynn is not Alder. And as goofy as I am, I'm more the authoritarian. More so, it's very reverse. I'm Mama Costia to Lynn. So it's strange because we got a chance to see ourselves in each other, and it was a beautiful, beautiful dance in that way. And I think that's what made it resonate so well. So when that dynamic had to break,
that was painful.
That hurt. Yeah, that hurt. Continue.
I mean, the comedy, you know, to be surrounded by talented actors is not always a given, and sometimes you have to pull a lot to get what you need to then, you know, tell your story. But with these two incredible women sitting next to me, it was almost a natural, I don't know, like Demetria said, such respect for each other, such love for each other. Also the beautiful diversity, which I so embraced, you know, because it's not your evident mom-daughter role, and I thought that in itself I applaud Elliot for, because he would always go for that fantastical. And it is like what Dee says, as maybe Alder seemed very much like a mother figure to Anacostia, but off screen it was the opposite, literally, like, you know. But I think it was almost like a mirror, you know, that was held up, which was so beautiful, and we built such a beautiful rapport with each other. She was my anchor, especially during COVID. It was really very lonely, very isolating, and we had our weekly little moment that I don't think without that I could have survived it. So I love these two women so much, and I feel so privileged that I got to work with them and learn from them. So.
Heartbreaking moment in the show was Anacostia's death. So we know that this was implemented due to schedule conflicts. I would like to know, Demetria, what you can tell us about what was initially planned for your character in season 3.
The long and short of it is, friend, I don't know. Season 3 moved a little bit differently. We didn't have all of the scripts up front like we did with season 1 or season 2 even. Season 3 moved differently in that way because we also knew, we went into it knowing it was our final season. You know, so I think they were still trying to figure out if they left it open-ended, if they closed the chapter completely, like what did this look like? Was it going to go to a different network? There was still a lot of question marks, so there wasn't a lot of penmanship from the beginning. Now, what I can say is I know that it wasn't intended originally for her to die. But the irony was, because this is a show of magic, because I had seen the wonderful work they had been able to do with Alder when she turned into Woody. You know, because we had seen all of these different things, you know, if there was an opportunity for the rebirth in a different capacity, there was always an opportunity for them to be able to somehow bring Anacostia back. So even though Anacostia was done with that season, I never took it as impossible for her to be a part of the storyline moving forward, if forward was possible.
Donc la question c'était pour Demetria en particulier par rapport à c'est une question sur la mort d'Anacostia qui nous a tous choqués et je lui demandais si elle savait en fait ce qu'aurait été la storyline d'Anacostia si elle n'était pas morte, si elle avait pu rester dans ce qui était prévu au départ. Donc Demetria disait que c'était pas prévu au départ qu'Anacostia meure et malheureusement c'est arrivé et c'était inévitable et par contre elle a aucune idée vraiment de ce qui serait arrivé à Anacostia après ça. Mais pour elle, en fait, elle n'a jamais pris ça comme une fin vraiment définitive, entre guillemets. Et elle s'était dit à l'époque que si jamais la série pouvait continuer, il y avait un moyen qu'Anacostia revienne. Voilà.
We only have 5 minutes left, so this is going to be the last question.
Is there any aspect of your characters that you wanted to explore deeper?
Go ahead, Kat. I think I mentioned this before, I appreciated how much growth Petra experienced when she started to listen to other people and when she led with her kindness. And so I like that it didn't cost her the things she'd accomplished when she allowed herself to be more vulnerable, to be more emotional, to be more appreciative of the diversity of opinions and lived experiences that were around her, offering her things. So that's something I've tried to carry forward with me into my life, but I also would be really fascinated to see where she went as her leadership increased, as she took over the army and had more post-spree witches who would now come home, and what wisdom from their experiences she'd be able to integrate into the army and expand their kindness and their integration into society. So, give it a little thought, but
My goodness, to explore Alder further, where would I want to explore more? I think it wouldn't, wow. It's 4 o'clock probably. I think it would be more about what I wanted to explore, what went ahead, how she became Alder, how she became that iced creature that we got to know at first, and then got to crack, but like I almost wanted to go like, what came before for her to become that woman? Yeah, I would love to explore that a lot more, because that would be so cool.
Man, everybody else have an origin story. I was the big question mark. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a foster. Voila. Like I don't know where she came from. I don't know what tribe of witches she originated with. I don't know what she had to endure as she was a fosterling before she got to Alder. I don't know how Alder found her. Was she in a basket? Like, I
Oh,
don't.
you were my favorite one. I picked you from the litter.
Yeah, but even that, like, how did I get to said orphanage? Like, there were so many different question marks. And in the session earlier, I was saying, man, Elliot, wouldn't it be cool if Anacostia was actually unlucky? Like, what made Alder pick her? Because she had some kind of something that made her draw directly to her, right? Like, it got real deep for me in the season. So, if there was something that I would personally like to explore, just like we do Mariel, Tally, and Abigail, Petra, Alder, we knew where everybody else came from, but we did not get the opportunity to explore the beginning of Anacostia. And I think that would have been really interesting to see who she could have been and where it turned once she met Alder. Like, that would have been dope. As I mentioned earlier, that hurt me, but I'm very grateful for. I've been doing this for 20-something years. And I have never been on a show where the names were married and the nicknames were given and it became a universal understanding. When I became Mama Costa, Anacostia was fun. Demetria liked her real bad. Mama Costia was a different thing because it felt like I wasn't just teaching the unit, but I had this whole other unit outside of the screen. And so for that, I am so very thankful, and that is when I knew the work I was doing was making an impact. So thank you so much, because it's because of you.
Oftentimes we are put in positions where the reality we are trying to create is different from the reality behind the scenes. And so it has been a special privilege to be a part of a community telling a story of female empowerment and togetherness with women I feel empowered by and together with. And so the fact that what you see on screen in terms of the unit that forms to tell the story is not dissimilar to the bond that we have formed behind the scenes. And rarely is that balance maintained, and maintained, as you can see in the hallways, in a goofy manner, years after we've finished filming this. Like, the real takeaway for me is what I've been able to take away, which is new sisters, new friends, and the fact that this fosters this just elevates the magic and makes it even more special. So the gratitude you hear us repeating is sincere and is important, because it's not something we did, it's a community we've all created together, and it's unique. Like, she may be 20 years in, this is my 40th year. Gratitude and the specialness that we try and share with you is so sincere and so real and so treasured by us. So thank you for making that happen.